Hi students, how are you all? Welcome in our SS lecture and we have chapter 12 Culture and Science. Well, there is a diversity in India. India has a huge and varied culture. It is different from other countries. And there is a diversity in India. And because of diversity, India has a different culture, languages, tradition, and that all styles, religion, their works, literature, science and technology, everything different because of that diversity. It is referred as a country of diversity, and which brought about a lot of changes in society, in Indian society, and it also brought a lot of changes in that society of that economically, politically, and that conditions, traditions, and customs. These all are different from others. All these we can see it is reflected in our culture. The diversity is reflected in our culture. One of the most important striking feature about that diversity is that it is about that change in art and culture, and that in ancient time how that art and culture is different from other countries. It is one of the most striking and important feature art. In ancient time, art was there in the paintings of that Ajanta and Ellora caves in Aurangabad and Maharashtra. Literature is there. There is a diversity in literature. Literature is also different from others. In India, both religious and secular texts were composed and written by the different writers and in ancient period. They were written in Sanskrit and Prakrit language. With all that texts were there, they were written mostly in Sanskrit and Prakrit language. So we'll see some religion texts written in Sanskrit and Prakrit language. The Vedas, among these, the Vedas are the most that oldest religious work, and it is the oldest that form of that structure. They were transmitted orally for many years. Vedas first they transmitted orally for many years. Then later on it was in written form. So after a long time it was in a written form. Along with the four Vedas, we have then Brahmanas, then Aryanas, Upanishad. These are others one main that of books of Vedas. Other books are there, Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita. These are also other religious books. Besides the Vedic literature, some Buddhist and Jain texts were also written in this period, like the Jataka tales, Buddha Charit. These all are the texts written in Buddhist literature. The Brahmanas are commentaries of that Vedic that hymns. There are Vedic hymns are given in Brahmanas, and Aryankas and Upanishads are spiritually interpreted. Their descriptions are given in that Brahmanas. They are assumed to be the concluding portion of the Vedas. A lot of information about Vedas are given in this literature, in this Brahmanas and Upanishad. Then you see the term Purana means very old. It means old, and the Purana it contains stories about the various gods and goddesses like that Vishnu, Shiva, Parvati, and Durga Ma, means this all goddess compose that stories. They comprises 18 that main text and which contains number of themes, and it has used and varied literature, and the history of that kings, sages, and heroes, gods, goddesses, and their achievements are given in this book. Means Hindu philosophy is also mentioned in this book. They were written in the temples by the priest, and probably for the common people, including women. These all were written by the common people in the temples, and mostly there were the stories about the gods and goddesses, and well, that stories related to the kings, their achievements, and some scholars. It was probably written in the temples by different sages, including women sages also. Then, the Ramayana and Mahabharata both are the longest poems, greatest epic in Hindu literature. The Ramayana is there, it is written by Ramayana is written by Valmiki, and it is that there are 24,000 verses long. That poem is there. It is a great poem, and it comprises the story of Lord Rama, the King Rama of that Ayodhya, with the capital of that Ayodhya, the Prince of Kosala, the capital of Ayodhya, who was sent into the exile, and his wife Sita was abducted by the Ravana, the king of Lanka, and there was a fight between Ravana and Lord Rama, and then he brought Sita back. This story is mentioned in the poem that Ramayana, and this is the victory of good over evil. The main message of this Ramayana, means this epic, is there. It is the main message, the victory of good over the evils. And Lord Rama is also that considered to be an avatar of that Lord Vishnu. Mahabharata is written by Vedvyas and comprises that about over 1 lakh that verses. It is called the longest poem in the world, and it is a story about Pandavas are mentioned in this Mahabharata, the great poem. Then the Bhagavad Gita is there. It is also one of the greatest book of Hindu religion, the holy book of Hindu is called that Bhagavad Gita. There are dialogues between Arjuna and Lord Krishna is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. It is related to the common man's lives, and its main theme is there of Bhagavad Gita to give knowledge to the common people. The main message of this epic is that Dharma is the main message of the epic Mahabharata. The Buddhist and the Jain texts are also that were originally composed in Prakrit and language and in Sanskrit language. Then the Buddhist Tripitakas and Jagat tales are there. It gives us a lot of information about Buddhist monks and saints. Secular literature is there. Then we'll see that secular literature, the important secular work is there in ancient time. That Arthashastra written by Chanakya and Natyashastra, it is also written. Then that Bhanubhat, that Harshcharit written, is also that literature. And one more play is there, that is Harshcharita by one word, Arthashastra, it is also written, and Panini, the great poet, is written. Then Asthyani, Ashtadhyayi, it is also written. Natyashastra, Panchashastra, and that Panchatantra, Jadava tales are other important works of that secular literature. Kalidas is regarded as one of the greatest that poet of Sanskrit literature, and he wrote number of famous plays and poems. And the well-known poems are that Kumar Sambhavam, then Meghdut, then Ritu Samhar. Ritu Samhar is one of the greatest group of poet Kalidas. Then Raghuvansam, and among this that Abhijanan Shakuntalam is the great book of Kalidas. And among these plays, Abhijanam Shakuntalam is the most famous work of Kalidas. The play was one of the first and most famous. This play was one of the first work in Sanskrit and translated to the English. And then Malvikagni Mitram, then Vikrama Varsam, are other the important famous that work of Kalidas. Well, Jataka tales are the stories about the previous that Buddhists, and it is given in the form of Buddha. It is a story about Buddha's life, and the Buddha's being, it appeared in the form of that human beings like tree, bird, and animal. So there are stories related to the Buddha's in Jataka text. Panchatantra is a fable and composed by Vishnu Sharma. He has used that animals that characters and given a message to the people. And Panch means fire, and Tantra means that strategies, and strategies about different ideas. And each story of Panchatantra had moral with that story. Mostly that animals characters are used in Panchatantra. Natyashastra is an ancient Indian literature, most probably the dance forms, and it deals with the dance form and tradition in Sanskrit, and mostly it discusses that cadence and dance, music, drama, and it also gives us that information about various that other aspects such as the musical instruments, performance, and the stage and design, and all information given in Natyashastra. Tamil literature is there. Then we know about Tamil literature, that Sangam literature is there, that written in Tamil, and it gives us a lot of information about Tamil kings and the South Indian kingdoms. The Thakkapai is the earliest available work is there in Tamil, and the work is there. Tokapiyam is the earliest work in Tamil, and it deals with the Tamil language and literature and grammar. Mostly that Tamil literature, grammar, and that language is mentioned in this literature. Silapadikam and Manimekalai is there. Manimekalai are the another two important that main Tamil epics. Silapadikam was composed by the poet named, we can say, Ilango and Adikal. It is a story about that merchant of Kavaripatnam that named Kovalan, and who is in love with that courtesan Madhvi, and Kovalan has a wife named that Kanagi, and Kovalan and Kangi moved to Madurai, where Kovalan is wrongly that accused of stealing and sentenced to death. You know, wrongly stealing and got death. So in her that Kanti, in her grief, anger, destroyed the entire city of Madurai, and Mani Mikhail, and it is composed. The main idea and by Satanar describes the story of that Kovalan and Madhuri's daughter. Science is there. There was a significance that progress in the field of science and technology during this period. Many developments and many that development took place during these years. There was some development and changes in the field of science also, in the field of medicine, astronomy, and that metallurgy. So there is a change in this all different field during this period. Mathematics. Aryabhat was a famous mathematician and famous mathematician. He wrote a book on maths named the Aryabhata in Sanskrit, and mentioned that the earth is there, it moves around the sun as well as on its axis, and it gave a lot of information about the earth gravitation and its moves. Then how the earth moves on its axis and around the sun. This theory was given by this mathematician. He explained how that ellipse happened, and he also discovered the method of calculating circumferences of circle. He also discovered the method of calculating the circumferences of a circle. Varahamihira is another important that mathematician and astronomer also. So his book, composed one book, is Brihad Samiti, and Brihad Samhita is his book in an encyclopedia about science. The Indian mathematician also knew the use of that zero, and they had a special symbol for that. So use of symbol that Indian mathematician done, and they have special symbol to indicate these all things. This system of counting was adopted by the Arabs, and then it sent into Europe. Then they also knew about the decimal system, and the system of counting in decimal. It was adopted by the Arab, and later on it was adopted in the whole Europe. So this is that information about that mathematics, and this way that mathematics done, and different mathematics find out and discover different rules about that. So this circumferences of circle and decimal system, it was on during this age. So I hope you understand these all things well. Okay, thank you children. Bye.